Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life. For those of y'all that's not familiar with my page, I was sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. I had a life sentence as a result of really being out there in the street, And so I have a prison channel talking about my prison experiences and stuff like that. And from time to time, I'll get comments in the comment section, people asking me to give my opinion on certain things that's going on. And so I'm gonna break down my opinion about the situation with Gunna and Young Thug. Now, before I get started, let me say that I haven't kept up with this situation whatsoever. I've seen bits and pieces about it, but I haven't watched it closely. But then I seen yesterday that one of the rappers was released, and like I said, a couple of people asked me what I thought about that. Also, before I get started, excuse me, I definitely want to say that I'm from an era, man, where I went to prison in 1996. I got arrested in 1994. So you can basically say that I'm an 80s baby. I hit the block in the mid 80s, and so back in that time it was a different generation, man. So I said all that to say I'm definitely not the one to put a snitch jacket on anybody without the proper paperwork, seeing this and that, because in the streets, especially back in my time, that was a serious accusation, calling a person a snitch, and if you don't have the information to prove that, that's a term that you should never label a person on, regardless of the what ifs and this and that. So with that being said, anytime you in the street, if you consider yourself a real street dude, you out there, you cripping, you blooding, you stepping, whatever, you out there voluntarily in them streets, in the event that you get arrested, anything outside of telling the police your name could definitely be considered suspect, because you always gonna have people looking to punch holes in your cripping, your blood, and your stepping, whatever you out there doing, And so I understand that these dudes got arrested, in a RICO act, and it was a collective. So now suddenly the rapper Gunna gets released yesterday, and he took an Alford plea. So for those of you guys who are not familiar with an Alford plea, basically he just took some time and agreed to a certain deal with the lawyers, with the district attorney, but he wasn't admitting to any guilt. And so the bad thing about that is, though, a video surfaced where he is talking about he had knowledge that YSL is a gang. Now, the bad part about that is part of the RICO charges, to my understanding, on Young Thug is that they're trying to say that YSL, which was a rap group that he was under, was also a gang. So now they got him on, and you guys can go research and find, it's a bunch of videos out there. So you guys can go find that. But they got him saying that, yes, he knows that YSL was a gang, and that he has knowledge of people committing crimes for that gang. Now that is going to look extremely bad, because what they're trying to charge Young Thug with, part of that RICO accusation, is that YSL is a gang. So by you admitting that it is a gang, definitely not looking good. Also, I failed to mention that part of the plea, the Alford plea that Gunna took, had conditions on it. One of those conditions was that in the event he be called in the future to testify in this case, that he will do so honestly, without incriminating himself. And so, like I said, if they got these dudes, and part of the accusations is that was a gang and not just a rap label, and then you saying yes, it was a gang, then that makes it, that just makes it extremely tougher on him, because now you have a person who was part of this, and now he's saying that, yes, it was a gang. Also, they got him on video admitting that, I guess at some point in time, him and Young Thug got pulled over in a car. And so they got him on video. They got pulled over by the police in a car, and they found some drugs in the car, and they found a gun. They got him on video admitting, once again, that the gun was not his. Now, yeah, that's definitely dry snitching, because there's really only three logical options, okay? One option is that the gun was Gunna's, The other option is that the gun was thugs, and the other option is that the police planted the gun. And that's going to be something that you would have to prove. Now, somebody might say, oh, well, man, somebody else could have had the car before them and left the gun up in there. But that's not a logical option, because when you take possession of a car, in the eyes of the law, you're supposed to know what's up in there. And so now by Gunna saying, no, the gun wasn't mine, well, who else could the gun be then? If they can't prove the police planted it, or they're not alleging that the police planted it, then the gun has to be Young Thug's, which was, a cold move for Gunna to take. Now, I'm going to also keep it real, though. In my opinion, whenever they did get pulled over in that car, and there's two people in there with one gun and some drugs, somebody at that point in time was supposed to claim that right then and there. It don't make no sense for both of us to go to jail if that was the situation behind one gun. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and so that's part of being in the streets. When I grew up in the era, man, where you rode your beef. You know what I'm saying? If you was man enough to have something on you in the event you get caught with it, step up and claim it. What sense does it make for two people to go to jail behind one gun, and then just me to be keeping 100? If the gun was mine, I'm going to say, well, the drugs is mine too, because one is going to supersede the other, especially when you dudes is in the music business, y'all rapping. Y'all should have a little bit of bread to fight that case better than the average person. But anyway, that didn't really make no sense. That didn't really make no sense, man, to me, that, they didn't claim the gun. Then later on, you go to admit on stand that the gun is not yours. So once again, you leaving Thug in a messed up situation, man. Also, what looks ugly in my opinion, like I say, just being a street dude at one time, it looked like you left your brothers, man, in prison. And what I mean by this is, if they arrested you guys as a collective, then you guys should have decided what you was gonna do as a collective. Of course, they may be keeping you guys where you can't communicate, but your lawyer could definitely communicate with his lawyer, and you guys figure out what's best for everybody, not just one person jumping off ship. And so I'll elaborate deeper into that, man. What I basically mean is, it would have been okay if y'all all agreed and came together as a collective. Like, okay, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to claim this gun. I'm going to go in here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be responsible for this. Then it would have been no problem at that point in time if y'all all went in there together, and saying, okay, yeah, the gun was mine. So then the next dude would get up and say, no, the gun wasn't mine. Because like I said, it's only one gun. So, had you guys decided, okay, we're going to all do this because as a unit, it's best for us, so you say this, you say that, you accept this, you accept that, so we all can get time that we can do, and then come back out and get back to our business, somewhat like Bobby Schmurder and them cats did. That's honorable and that's respectable. But for a person to make it appear as if he is jumping off ship and he's leaving, right now he's doing what's best for him, and he's not moving, he's no longer moving as a unit, that doesn't look good, Like I said, if you guys had all moved and took that as a package deal, that would have been okay. But once again, man, all this stuff that's happening just goes to reiterate the fact that, man, everybody wants the streets until they are faced to deal with the consequences and the repercussions of the streets, man. Now, to my understanding, and like I said earlier, forgive me if I'm mistaken, but this dude, Gunna, he wasn't even looking at nothing but about 5 years. So if a dude can't do 5 years, man, come on, man, when they hit you with something and you facing life or something like that, man, a lot of these dudes is not going to stand up. And so, as I was saying, everybody appears to want the streets while it's all good, man. But when stuff gets ugly, then dudes start jumping off and stuff like that. And like I say, with all these young rappers, man, all these dudes out here having all this money and stuff and still wanting to, still wanting to partake in these street activities, man, to me, I see it as they don't really have anyone in their corner, man. They don't really have no real dudes in their corner that can give them some solid advice. And I'm talking about a person who was really out there in the streets. Because when you getting all this bread, You shouldn't even want that activity. You shouldn't even want to be out there beefing and going to war with cats when you having so much money. When a lot of times, man, the objective when you in the hood is to get out of the hood. So once you have the means and financial measures to leave the hood, why are you still creating or partaking in beef and certain situations that can lead you to losing your freedom or losing your life? And like I said, to me, you gotta have knowledgeable people in those situations to tell your homie, hey man, hey young homie, you moving wrong. But like I said, since this younger person sometimes is the one that's getting the bread, and you have a lot of people that's hanging around so they can get fed instead of hanging around or trying to instill some knowledge when dudes who you function with aren't moving right. That's in my opinion, that's the problem, man. So once again, I'm not the cat to put a jacket on anybody, but I'm just saying, by the way things appear, things don't appear good right now. It kind of looked like Gunna has made a move for self. And like I mentioned earlier, part of the condition of the Alfred plea is, if later on, and I believe that Thug goes to trial in January, if someone calls him in as a witness, and I'm not necessarily saying someone from Thug's camp, I'm saying the prosecution or whatever, he has to testify, truthfully. And so, yeah, it definitely is not a good look, man. But anyway, I'm just giving y'all the information and my opinion as a cat that was once out there in the streets. I'm gonna let y'all make your own mind up. But you already know what it is, man. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.